I bet we've had
So
less
this
scheduling
is
problems than most groups, though.
Oh, 100%.
I think 100% I think you all
You know,
have. So I am it is bittersweet to see it come to an end. To see this sandbox kind of close. Um,
I will Venmo you $20, Malcolm, if you start playing that graduation song, that sad one that they play as you walk across the stage.
I gotta cue that up then somewhere. That would be good. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, you guys. I mean, guys definitely have graduated through it all. Tonight, you probably won't. I can't see you needing your dice for many rolls. I would imagine this is going to be very role play heavy, and and even generally possibly very much led more by you all than me. You know, think of this as you all setting many of the scenes after I set the stage. Um, and I will say that unlike like our standard D&D games where we're very much kind of moment to moment, I imagine that we will live in some moment to moment, and then we'll be able to kind of even push time forward and kind of montage some things to find out how based I'll kind of we're gonna just have a conversation in its truest role playing in its truest form, and kind of build out this epilogue and this story together, and see where it all comes to a nice place for us to put it down, put it on the shelf, look back at it, and say we did that. Um, yeah,
Good game. Good game. Good
yeah,
game.
good game. And I think where we're at right now is I've just started recording. Um, Not a whole lot of recap. This last episode was essentially you all fighting the big bad, you all taking on Tiamat Takesis in her full chromatic form. I think it was Tempe that got the finishing blow, if I'm not mistaken,
Hell
taking
yeah.
her down.
A boy.
She died. There was some talk about watching the devastation around Waterdeep, and then little Lenore, who had gone and came back to you all and was like, hey, they're waiting for you. There was some sadness as they look on as the foundation is still there, but the House of Spirits has been destroyed in the fight. Ravi still kind of clinging on, like his celestial ghostly form is still there with you. I know he's starting to kind of say some goodbyes, but he's still there with you, as almost like Selune has granted some extra time to be with those friends before before he goes back to his new home. um Anything else that you all want to maybe add to? I'm getting a little chatter. It might be from it was probably from a TV from in the background, something like that. No worries. And Other than that, is there anything you all want to maybe contribute to, either recap or that you think is important about tonight, sharing with your party members, so that you don't forget to maybe bring something up? You're welcome to kind of say that now before we jump into the game. Um,
Can we get a do we in the aftermath find how many people of our kind of surrounding NPC squad survived? Like I know Silverhands was there,
that'll all
Vajra
be in
was
this
there.
episode. Yep,
Okay.
that'll all be once we get into the um you get the feeling that the war, there's a lot going on around you. You're kind of like in that no man's land area, and you're starting to exit it, and you can kind of hear the clanking of but not the war, not really battle as much as like the sound of when the battle is over, and the body, you can see that soldiers are dragging bodies and moving them to piles, while that are the dead, and others are going into tents that are being set up for the wounded, while those dragon armies are fleeing, and some of them are being arrested and taken prisoner. There's just so many things going on, and then in addition to that, just civilians, those who didn't flee Waterdeep, are in the midst of the devastation looking for loved ones. And Lenore is telling you they're looking for you, so come with us. So I think that going with Lenore is taking you back to where those who survived are. Yeah, so that's a good question. Let's see. Anything else? All right. So if you might want to refill your drinks, and then, or whatever, quick bathroom breaks, and then we will, when we come back, maybe a minute or two, we'll jump in and get started.
I already refilled my drink.
Okay, I'm doing mine now, and I'm
You drinking that Red Robin? What was
What
that
Henny
shit
did you get? I got a. If you've never had Redbreast, try it. It's a really
Redbreast,
good
nah,
Irish
never had
whiskey.
No, I can't. I'm not a big fan of Irish whiskey. I'm just doing regular.
Try. Here's the thing. You can't think of. Don't when you think of Irish whiskey.
Comment down below if you think Sean's problematic for hating the Irish.
You think of Jameson, right? Or you think of like.
No. I love like I love. There's some that I think this is actually a glass from like this is Scotch. This is Spyburn.
Are you having the Hennessy?
What's that?
Do you having the hen tonight?
Yeah, I'm just drinking the OG Hennessy. That's the
nice.
Ghetto shit. I was gonna get the VSOP, but then I'm just like I'm not drinking enough these days. You know what I mean? So like if I'm gonna keep a bottle open,
you know, the funny thing is I actually find it somewhat problematic. I mean, I don't take offense, but I will say if you dig a little deeper, I do take some offense to Hennessy. There's this idea, okay, once black people start drinking it, now suddenly it's ghetto, right? Like suddenly it when Hennessy they didn't make that drink to be a lower class drink, but then what gets assigned to it is because a lot of mostly because of hip hop, right? Because
that's the thing. That's the thing too. Like I don't think anyone actually thinks Hennessy is ghetto except white people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because there's some really high levels of nice. I've actually had some really good Hennessy. It's just not my preferred taste. Because it's a cognac. I'm not a big cognac drinker.
And I am.
It gets that bad rap because of that. You know, somebody telling it ghetto is because of that.
Same thing with like Cavassier, Busta Rhymes did Cavassier. You know what I mean? And then that shit blew up. And then you got like Jay-Z did Douce, so Douce blew up, and Douce is garbage cognac, right? Like I think I drink Hennessy because it's traditionally like it's what I grew up on. I know that sounds ridiculous.
Have you seen Nas? I actually really appreciate. I saw that there's like a Nas documentary where he goes to the Hennessy factory and he goes.
He goes there and he released the whole release. There was the whole 50th anniversary hip hop release. Yeah.
Cool. I do think
one of the first rappers to talk about it. He was one of the first. I do find
it is kind of funny. I do chuckle that so many like, kind of like the because not all hip hop is like that, but that portion of hip hop that is like ultra like kind of machismo masculinity of that kind of like gangsters choosing Hennessy, which by the stereotype of the French is such a foofy drink to choose as your choice. You know, it's just kind of funny.
It's a wine liquor. It's a wine-based liquor, dude.
Hennessy. Like, why are you drinking cognac? Like, it's funny though. So, like, and that's just me being stereotypical.
But I don't even think it's just Hennessy, man. Like, black people in general drink a lot of cognac. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Like there's a million, like a lot of black people generally do.
A lot of black people in the United States also have French backgrounds that, you know.
Right. That's exactly right. Especially in the South and stuff like that. I mean, it's these guys like Shannon Sharp. He's got his own cognac, right?
Yeah.
And so all these guys, they love that shit, you know. And I think that as much as, you know, maybe it has a derogatory ghetto, you know, connotation to it, I think it's also opened things up to like, because, you know, like you could buy anything from the store. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can go and buy a 40 ounce of fucking Old English and drink that shit and get drunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you could drink craft beer that's made well, you know, and I feel like, you know, like these guys Crown and Hops, who are like a black owned craft beer company, or like these guys who are pushing good cognac, man, right? Like I feel like that elevates the spirits more than
I appreciate that more. I'd rather drink a black owned like craft beer or cognac than give my money to Hennessy, which kind of uses the face of blackness to sell its product, but is not black at all. Right. And decides when it wants to that face to represent itself. Right. So when hip hop is big and it's helped bringing in the money, it's good. And then when they're trying to kind of elevate, we got to separate ourselves from that. Tommy Hilfiger did the same thing for a very long time.
Yeah, Tommy Hilfiger did the same thing. Dude, clothing line. I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine because he's in fashion. And we just had
close this up.
Yeah. Anyway, we could talk about that. We could offline about that because there's some
Malcolm and Sean bromance is unconquerable. It's just
it's because we don't get it's because we were supposed to golf like a year ago. We were supposed to start golfing on a regular basis, and my schedule got kind of fucked, and he had a baby.
We gotta get back.
And we don't get enough time to spend together, guys. That's
I'll be right back.
He's leaving.
Bye
you did.
Now we lost Malcolm. Look at his chair spinning. It's like,
I can't.
He left tracks getting out of there.
Do you even feel ashamed of yourself?
Cheryl, he's talking to you.
No, I'm
Ashamed of
talking to you, boy.
What did I do?
Look, Malcolm's gone because of
He
you.
had to get something or use the bathroom. I don't know.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm DM's pet. I've done nothing wrong to Malcolm ever, except all of the times that I helped Lex clean out on Pride Month.
My Carmela just came by and said that they are making a new season of Gravity Falls. You guys like Gravity Falls?
Yes.
So
Interesting.
we have watched a lot of Gravity
Well, because
Falls.
that Bill book, the Book of Bill, just came out.
The Book of Bill just came out. Yeah. So
Oh.
it sounds like I don't see any news about it, but she said she just saw it.
I trust Carmela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I get all my news.
Oh yeah, there's a mysterious website now.
They love that.
This is not a real website. This is not a real website.com.com. Oh boy, dude, I love the guy who did this. What's the guy's name who did this shit?
Alex Hirsch.
Alex Hirsch, man, I love that dude. He does
the voice of King.
He is the voice of King. That's right.
I will never not be there.
Like Dana Terrace too, very much. She does. She created that shit. They were down in Burbank last week or this weekend. They were doing like a rally for animation.
Oh, I've heard about things going on in the animation world.
Yeah. Which I thought was pretty cool.
And you all have been able to hear a little bit of music in the background. Is it too loud? Has it been fine, or are we not hearing?
I don't think I hear anything.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, that's interesting.
I can hear it. It's really low though.
It's just really low. Okay, that's fine. I might give it a little bump. It's it's not like battle music. It's just, let's see, maybe.
I hear it now.
Okay, let's leave it right about there. Let me know if it distracts. Let's see. Just want to make sure it's sharing because it will come into play. May need it throughout the night. Let's see here. So, I'm gonna go ahead and begin in the aftermath of this great, colossal, cosmic battle with Tiamat. She has fallen, and her unholy fortress that was dedicated to her, that had come out of the, that mountain, because know in the center of Waterdeep there is this, it's the bottom of what was Mount Celestia is now erected in the middle of the city, and then her temple had burst out of that. That temple starts to collapse in the aftermath. And as it crumbles, and it was kind of like this dark black obsidian temple at the top that just had like these spiky edges, like one for almost representing each head of the chromatic, order of the dragon order. And as it begins to break apart, the earth trembles, and then this thick fog of war has already been around the battlefield, but then this new fog that is, rippling out from the crumbling of her tower pushes out through across Waterdeep, and now, enveloping everything in that smoke, and then everything kind of goes quiet, and Lady Silverhand and Vajra stand kind of elevated on this hill among all of the landscape littered in the silhouettes of soldiers being tended to and people, and they watch as look out towards the smoldering ruins of the city, and then Vajra points, and as she points, we begin to see the silhouette of our heroes emerging from ground zero of Waterdeep, and they are battered, they are bruised, but all in all, they are well, and they are in good spirits. And
they're exhausted. Demetria is exhausted. Demetria is going to be sitting down as soon as she can find a place to sit.
And so Demetria just kind of collapses down on like a rock where she can rest. And Lady Silverhand kind of approaches you all, and she says, she's really just for a moment takes a moment to kind of just take it all in and to look at you all. And then she looks back and she says, hero. She looks at you and she says, you know, heroes of this war-torn realm, you did it. You saved our beloved Sword Coast. You saved Faerun. Yes, Waterdeep has seen better days, but she will be rebuilt. She will go on to see another day. It will take a great many years. But we're
Tiamat
all
has
still here.
traumatized me. Can I insight check this to make sure that this isn't like a Tiamat illusion? That
You may insight check and automatically pass.
the first time Demetrius ever passed an insight check. Exhausted thumbs up to Silverhands.
And then she just puts her hands out to like for a hug. Like to each of you, I don't know if they respond, how they respond.
Bringing it.
Watch out for the lizard.
Lenore is standing next to kind of like holding on to between Timpy and like standing by Ravi's kind of ghost.
Why the hell not? I'll go for a hug.
And as they hug after, she goes, she kind of turns back and she goes, to all of us, witness your champions of Waterdeep. And there's like a hip, 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 like from all the able-bodied, you know, soldiers, men, women, you know, those survivors, children.
Demetra makes sure to turn and look at Ravi to make sure that he knows in his ghostly form that this cheer is for him too. Demetra doesn't want the cheers of the people. She wants to be able to see Ravi's face as he realizes that he's a hero of Waterdeep and he's getting cheered on.
I think it doesn't super register for Ravi, as he's just kind of like glad to actually be like face to face with you and not have, you know, a looming catastrophe pending.
Other than the catastrophe of him inevitably going back to heaven.
Radar then. Oh,
I was just gonna go up to Demetra, and I want to cast a 7th level heal to give you 80 hit points.
80? 80?
Yeah.
Jesus, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at like 18, 19.
And as that is happening, you hear Raynar kind of pick up where Lady Silverhand is kind of like, you know, she kind of made her voice boom a bit, and then Raynar is like rides by on this kind of spotted white and black horse with the Neverwinter banner, and he is cheering to all those soldiers around him, saying the same thing, kind of repeating that these are your champions, that we are all champions of the Sword Coast. And with a big cheer, and then Vajra kind of uses the black staff and kind of waves her hand and causes like little above the sky mini little fireworks to just kind of like pop and go off. And it's not overly celebrative of just the group, but you realize that it's really everyone celebrating just being alive and this all being over. Still knowing that there is still death hangs in the air, and that. But just taking a moment, you know, that part of life that is like we did survive this, and Tiamat is dead, and as that happened, he rides over to you all after the big cheer kind of dies down, and he gets off and just kind of comes to you all and says, "Good on all of you." He just magic shouldn't have been wasted to bring me back. But I just want to let you all know that me being given that second chance, being privileged to take it, I will dedicate the rest of my life, not to myself or my riches, but to the people of Neverwinter, to wherever I can serve the Sword Coast. You have my word.
Demetria leans over to Amnon and tries to stage whisper, but she doesn't really care too much, and will whisper, doesn't he still owe us money? Or am I tripping? Do I remember that right? Does he still owe us money?
No, we owe him money.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I think it's the opposite way around.
Telepathically, I look at Dusha go, shh.
Well, Waterdeep and Neverwinter are gonna need that money, so good on you, Rainer. Glad to see you in one remaining piece.
Well said.
And
Did he lose an eye?
yeah, he had lost a bunch. So he
He lost an eye and his limbs, some of his limbs.
yeah, but so the arm that he lost is on he doesn't have anything mechanical like Lady Silverhand, so he really just kind of has a peg or something that kind of like a little mini claw, and then he has part of his face is kind of wrapped. But
Demetria feels like a dick. Demetria's gonna stand behind him.
Aren't as bad because they did really use some really high level magic, so it's it looks like his body may even still be healing, but it wasn't able to restore the limb, of course. Yeah.
These things take time.
And it's not Hero's Feast, but it'll do if you need some sustenance, as Vajra brings over kind of this makeshift kind of wood pallet as she's cast create food and water, and she just kind of has a jug of water for those who are feeling parched. And you could tell that other mages who have survived are kind of going to and fro, doing the same thing, kind of creating food and water and serving where they can. There are healing spells being cast over the wounded, cure wounds, and and so those paladins who can lay on hands are doing their part across the battlefield.
I have 5 lay on hands left and 1 first level spell slot. I cannot help. I will carry Amnon's doctor bag for him. If only the cannibal lizard man was still alive, he could help.
You see one soldier who is just kind of helping attending to the wounded, and you realize that he looks very familiar as he looks up with a slight smirk. Maybe, I don't know if it's jovial, I don't know what the look it might be, but it is a familiar face of Jakarthur Jameson. Unless you're not there. We'll leave. But Jakarthur waves.
I don't know if they're still talking with all the higher ups. He's kind of just doing his job.
Okay. But they see him, he sees them. I don't know if they call him over or not, or if there's he's there within the space.
I think Demetria would give him a gesture come here, you were part of the left hand for a hot second, man.
It was good to see you again after all this time.
Gotta say, it is good to see you in one piece too. Where have you? I mean, you clearly weren't here if you're still upright and fighting ready.
Well, me and a lot of troops came from Baldur's Gate as soon as we got the call for aid.
Baldur's Gate still, everything worked out down there? The battle wasn't... What's the state of things?
Could be better. Much rebuilding still needs to be done.
Sounds like it's still there.
It is still there.
Still there. That's where we're at. Still there.
Hey, I mean, considering the alternative, I am a big fan of still there.
Yeah. I mean, I'll settle for still there right now too.
It's definitely in better condition than Waterdeep.
Well, then we're glad to have you with us.
You're also free to direct what you think that they would be doing or asking of, Lady Silverhands, or what in this time and space, feel free to kind of command where you think what your group is doing.
Just something small. I think Amnon would kind of just look off into the distance because I haven't heard about Axel coming back.
Well, even when Axel, if he was to like die, he could be summoned again, right? Like he doesn't really die. So yeah, I think
It's not the same.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I don't want the big one. I know he would at least be reaching out to see if he feels, or he could, like, because he can talk to Axel as long as on the same plane.
Yeah. So,
Hey,
using your spell casting proficiency, like your stat, make a check. That's a DC 12.
Okay.
Same thing as if you were to cast a spell.
18.
Okay. What are you trying to say to? Is there anything you try to communicate to Axel?
Just to like, since I can communicate telepathically, I would just send out like a message of that I'm worried about him in a way, just to make sure that he's okay. Because in flying this way or whichever, you know, or at least if he's hiding, he knows that the war is done.
Yeah, and
or die and have to summon him again. I just, I gotta figure that out too.
And then he responds that he's okay and that he's with a good friend, and that they're on their way. Be there shortly is what he responds.
Okay, cool. Then Amnon would kind of turn to Tempe and Demetra and everybody and be like, "What's now? What's next for you guys?"
Tempe looks at Robbie and then looks down at Lenore. He's really somber. He knows that he's going to lose Robbie again. And he's under the impression that he now loses Lenore as well. Because she's just a human child. And he's not the parent, I think he's feeling that right now.
Hopefully Amnon could kind of sense that in a way. You okay? Whoa, what happened? Something get in your eye?
Yeah, I think this fucking onions, like, I don't know if it's in the air, but what?
That's exactly what Tempe's doing. Like, he's like,
Tempe's like, there's onions. There's onions in the air. The onion
Tiamat ash fallout. Like, it's like parts of Tiamat's blood in the air. Like,
ashes to this bitch in my
fucking poison of that
was just
acid
like
from
super
the
getting into it.
So Amnon turns to Tempe.
Sean, all you had to do is not say anything about the onions and just play it off.
Oh,
It
yes,
yeah.
Yes, and.
Amnon kind of just like, Amnon just kind of looks at you and Demetra and be like, and looks at Robbie like, yeah, Robbie has somewhere else to go, but you have a child to raise now, the next Bahamut.
Vajra kind of, whether she senses it or overhears it, she kind of walks over, not being secretive within earshot of everyone who can hear, but she looks at Tempe. She says, the girl, clearly, she is special. And she has great powers. Those powers should be honed in the proper way, so that she can share her gift in all its positivity with the world. I'm just suggesting this, but I would like to recommend, not that she is in bad company with you all, but I'd like to recommend that she attend and study at Castle Candlekeep. I think my advisors and those teachers there would gladly take her as a student. She would not want for anything, and she would grow up with other peers like herself. But of course, I ask this, you all being her guardians. You don't have to tell me now, but I figured it may not even be the right time to ask. But if I don't want to forget to ask. I'm seeking your approval. She kind of looks to Lenore, almost to see if her eyes are an improvement, and Lenore just kind of like smiles and looks at Tempe. Kind of the eyes saying like, that sounds exciting, you know?
Amnon will look at Tempe and Demetra and be like, I feel that I brought us together as the left hand to defeat the Tiamat. I didn't know it at the time, but I kind of feel like that's what everything has meant. And she's not completely gone. At least that's how I feel, and I want to continue fighting her. Giving Lenore childhood is the best way to fight her on this side. And then I think I am going to continue on fighting her on the other side as well.
Suddenly this like flame opens up above you. Boom, it's like kind of pop of red smoke, and you see whoop, these like black wings go out, and down comes, lands on her hind legs, Araka, shakes her hair out, and on her shoulder is Axel, and she walks over to you, standing like almost a half a foot taller than Amnon, foot taller than everyone else. Why do you care so much for this imp? Do you know how many imps I've had in my service over a millennia? And you continuously care about this little one, and then like Axel is just kind of like, good, does one of these.
Amnon kind of kneels his head in respect to her, and then looks up after she says that, and looks up to Axel and goes, "Yeah, but in those amount of time, you haven't had this guy." And then I beckon him to jump on my shoulder.
He jumps over.
Yeah, and I also want to let you know that even though my contract is done, I am still here for your service to help guard Tiamat.
It's wonderful to hear you say that, because that's why I came. And then you hear like Raynar like, devils! Like, and then
No,
and like a ring of fire goes woof, like around all of you. And then Lady Lorel, Silverhand, and Vajra goes, it's okay.
She's with us.
Okay.
She's
with us.
Doesn't look like she's with us.
And then some of the pikes and the pitchforks and all that go down.
Put that shit away, Raynar. Come on.
Amnon looks up at her and goes, I apologize about their behavior. They don't know.
Come on, you don't have to. You know how this goes. We're devils. It will be like that for forever. But I'm here to share with you that Asmodeus was very pleased with your performance, and is willing to offer you another contract. This one with the terms possibly more in your favor. He invites you to his palace in hell for 2-3 weeks, all accommodations taken care of. He will spare no expense, and he's open to some negotiations. That's all he's told me about this contract. Is this something you're interested in?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. When you are ready, she hands over a scroll, and this is the when you are ready, burn the edge, create a circle 20 by 20 feet, a 20-foot diameter, and then stand inside of it as it burns away. And at that time, we will see you. We'll dine together in hell. And she steps back and starts to like lift up, and then shoots up into the sky, into the clouds, and disappears.
Amnon will just turn back to Tim and be like, this is what I was meant to do.
Tempe kneels down to Lenore, and he says, He says you want to go and learn, right?
And she can clearly speak, but like she kind of reverts back to kind of like sign language. It's just like, I do.
Then you will.
She kind of like jumps around and she kind of like throws her hands out and she just kind of like does some things like for a moment, but the wind, nothing really happens other than the wind kind of whips around all of you for a moment before returning, and dust kind of kicks up. Lady Raj was like, whoa, okay there, hold your horses, we'll get going soon, you know.
I just hugged.
He embraces Lenore.
And I'm just turning to you guys and be like, I'm not leaving for good, and I'll be coming back to visit. Gotta make sure that you guys are parenting up to par.
Well, if you're going to be coming back and Lenore's going to need some place to go when school's not in session, I think I might stick around here and make sure that the House of Spirits is built back up the way we wanted it to be.
I'm actually really happy that they didn't tell me I had to go now, because I'm going to stay for a while to help.
There's a lot of work to do.
When you guys are back on your feet, I will go after the next contract. When that's done, a few weeks, I will come back.
Come back and tell us about how good the food is in hell.
Hey, it wasn't too bad. Ask Tempe, he knows.
Tempe cuts eyes at Amnon.
Suddenly there. Oh, go ahead.
I'm done.
No,
I'm done. I was gonna say that when Lenore's older, maybe she can come down and see why she was created. When she's ready, of course. That's a pretty heavy thing to do, but I think one day it'll be good for her to know how important she is.
Suddenly there is a gasp across the crowd and those all around you. Because the landscape is littered with, there's tons of people, but in your area on the hill, it's almost like, some soldiers are also setting up like a bit of a little camp. But as you just kind of hear that audible, you look up to see some of the mist dissipating from around the mountain that is now at the center of Waterdeep. That's kind of like Small Mountain, and the top, just the peak of it, where the crest of it, where the tower, the Temple of Tiamat, has broken apart and is now in ruin. It begins to like glow and crystallize, and as the top begins to kind of crystallize, it kind of gives off this celestial, like I said, glow. And then suddenly from there, the battlefield, one by one, it's almost like you start to see fireflies, like kind of blue ones, but then you start to realize no, and then there's fireflies, like hundreds of them, and then there are thousands of them, and then there are too many to count. And what they look like, they might be like fairies, you start to realize as they glow brighter and brighter. You can see a flicker where they are like silhouettes of people, and those of you who were in Celestia recognize them as the spirits of Celestia who were trapped outside when Tiamat pushed them out. All the lost souls that had gone to live in the palace of Bahamut, they all began to ascend up back into the heavens one by one, and then in droves, and just like a rapture of them ascending. And everyone can see this, so everyone is just in a state of awe watching it, while you all know exactly what's happening. And then as it's all happening, one of them steps forward in front of all of you, and as it flickers, it takes on the shape of Stagat.
This fucking guy.
Hey,
elbows, Tempe.
Tempe's like fucking great.
We all reach for our weapons because we knew last time.
Yeah.
Goes to God.
Demetria ignores Tempe.
He walks
Steps
past
forward.
Tempe, and he steps like off to the side to kind of a face-to-face with Demetria. and he says, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wasn't strong enough."
Tempe goes.
That's not anything you need to apologize for.
I know, but from the get-go, I never was really one of you all. Like, I tried.
We needed you. When we were starting out with this, we were a ragtag bunch of irritating, she says to Tempe, criminals and ex-cons and outcasts, and you were one of the first people that we could trust with the information that we were finding out, and that gave us, or at least it gave me, a lot of peace of mind that we could make it out of the situation we found ourselves in.
I feel that it is us who have to apologize for not being strong enough to save you or to protect you from the brain.
Before Tempe can say anything, Demetra holds up a finger towards him.
He was about to, too.
I see you opening your mouth. No.
I appreciate you, but you can say that, and I'm glad I was able to help then. But I just wanted you all to know before I go that, I would never betray you all. I wish I had some foresight as to, it hurts knowing that I let my weak ass be taken control of. You don't know how it hurt to see it all from somewhere else, like I was in some kind of prison. And I know I don't even, I hurt you probably the most as I saw what Neil or Tiamat used my physical form for. I will forever be sorry. I don't
Demetra
know.
just holds out her hand to him. No hard feelings?
No hard feelings. And Greg takes the hand, and also that Tempe fella. I think we both just want to make sure. I think we both just mean the best, but I also think he's got a little crush on you. That's just my assessment from the way he acts.
Rose.
There's some people in your life that you don't want them to have anyone more important than you. Regardless of whether that's romantic or not, but I'll take it under consideration.
Well, I guess I gotta get back, and I don't know. I guess maybe we're rebuilding a castle in the sky. See when I get there.
Safe travels, Captain.
You when you get there, all of you, or wherever you go.
Not
Robbie,
me. Good.
tell Salune I said hello, and yeah, you. I'm still good.
I'll see
Still
you,
learning.
actually.
Still learning to
I'll see
appreciate.
you. I got you.
And he starts to fold. He's like, well, at least I can fly.
I'm going through tunnels. Bye.
20 years ago, Baldur's Gate got a sky castle. Now Waterdeep has a sky castle.
Kind of the thing, sky castles. I feel like major cities after a while just tend to, dragon attack, sky castle. If we had a silver piece for each time it happened, you'd only have 2 silver pieces, but it's weird that it happened twice.
Now there is no
Both
castle in the
liners.
sky because it crashed. There's nothing floating in the sky. So I mean,
It was in the sky at one
It
point.
was for one point. It did have it. Yes.
Lord Rainer,
Yeah.
when is Neverwinter getting a floating castle?
Yeah, Rainer.
Well, we're gonna work on that.
We're gonna go to committee
one
with
thing
it.
at a time.
Oh man, I think we need a whole nother just episode just to explore the
long-term consequences.
No. We're playing Dragon Maid next. That doesn't matter.
Demetria After saying goodbye to Stagat, Dimitri is going to kind of take a step and try and find Ravi. I don't know how corporeal he is at the moment.
Oh.
But she is going to dig through her pack. And she's going to pull out that scroll of true fucking resurrection. And she's going to look at it for a second. And then she's going to silently hold it out to Ravi.
Ravi takes it. Looks a little puzzled.
I know that you don't want me to use that, but I also know that every day for the rest of my life that I have that, I'm going to be thinking about using it, so I think it's better to let you take that with you.
He's gonna kind of just look at Demetria and at Tempe and at Lenore. And he kind of looks into the distance, as you can kind of tell that he's kind of looking beyond this plane. And he's gonna say something that Demetria, like people on the material plane cannot hear. He's talking into the Silver Shores. And I'm going to send Malcolm a message.
He holds up a finger and pulls out his walkie-talkie and starts typing with one thumb really quickly. Where's the Stone of Glory? Why did when you were... No, someone has left.
Oh, no, it's me. Hold on. I'm trying to... I usually...
Tempe really doesn't want to say goodbye.
I don't know why it doesn't want to make the chat separate. I want to remove the chat so I can put it on a different screen, and it's...
When you were describing Amnon having a fun spring break in hell, for some reason I was imagining the Stone of Galore being there, which I know isn't true. I think we've established that the Stone of Galore is somewhere else entirely, but I like to imagine that the Stone of Galore is just like at the buffet table, getting like a glass of orange juice when Amnon shows up for hell breakfast at the palace.
Damn it! I don't want to say goodbye to Ravi.
Look into the camera, be a man, cry in front of all of us. Do it for the views.
Let's wait till Ravi's done.
You don't talk amongst yourselves.
I gotta.
I'm also thinking because once we fix up Waterdeep, I don't think Demetria would want to go to Candlekeep.
Malcolm doesn't know it yet. Malcolm doesn't know it yet, but I think he accidentally did something that made you'll see.
I'm excited for PTA Dad Tempe. Like I think that's a very good look for Tempe.
For what?
PTA Dad Tempe. You know he runs those.
I don't think Candlekeep is like school though. I think it's like they go there, they stay there. It's all encompassing. I don't think that they like get to go home on the weekends and shit.
Summer break.
Pretty sure there's no summer break at Candlekeep.
Well, you're gonna make summer break at Candlekeep so you can come visit me, where I'm running my shifter orphan sanctuary in Waterdeep. The House of Spirits. What was that face, Malcolm? Just
continue role playing amongst yourself.
Yeah, we got to know what this Ravi thing is.
This
first.
is such like a Malcolm handing like Emmy, like here, play games on the phone. Go role play amongst yourself. Probably we just start. I imagine we're just gonna start. Regardless of what everyone's choosing to do later on, I think for at least the immediate couple of days, we're helping clean up Waterdeep. We have to make sure that people aren't
to that part. Yeah, we are. You're moving ahead too fast. We still got.
But she has the ability to. Remember, I said that. So if you're ready to move the advance the story forward, we can move to 2 days later, and then we can set the team 2 days later.
I'm not ready for that yet.
You're not ready for that. Okay. All right, so Tippy's vetoing us moving forward to 2 days
We're
later.
we're gonna lose Robbie now, right? Like this is
If he
Yeah,
decides to come back, if he decides to come back to life.
unless he decides to come back to life, of course. But as it stands right now, this is our, you know.
Here, Demetria sees him get this far off look. She doesn't know that he's talking to Saluna. She just thinks that this is like he's seeing the exit sign. He's gonna start
Tempe thinks,
disincorporating soon.
Yeah.
So-
Tempe hugs Lenore. Tempe, he whispers to Lenore. And you guys don't hear it. But damn it, that means I'd have to fucking chat to Malcolm too. Fuck.
Everyone wants to chat with Malcolm. Demetria has no such qualms. She's not
Well,
talking
because
to him she's not there.
I can't play as Lenore. That would be weird. So like I need
You need NPC interaction. We don't have
I need
much
NPC.
non-NPC interaction going on.
So you said you hug Lenore, but like, are you? She would hug you back. That would be a given, right? Are you?
Yeah. But then
are you
I
looking for a response for her. Yeah.
No, and then how are you receiving messages?
Through
I want you to see what I tell her. Which chat? Discord or?
I mean,
Sorry, no, on the Zoom chat.
The Zoom chat, okay. I don't want to fuck you up now because I know you got a big thing going on with.
Demetria goes over to Amnon and sits down next to him and is like, "So I know we talked about this briefly, but now especially that like everything's over. Araka single? Araka, would that be weird? Would that make things weird for you? Or is this like you get a veto? I'm giving you a veto. You know, it's like my brother that."
Wait, are you thinking about hitting on Araka?
I mean, like now that there's no risk of us like losing a important ally in the battle against Tiamat. I'm just kidding.
Like, that's kind of gross. She's like my deity.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if Bahamut wasn't a little girl, I'd be fine with it if he was, like, a man. Like, you know, if you were into Fizbin, you know, I wouldn't judge you if you wanted to hit on Fizbin.
No. We need to, it would, God is dead, so this is difficult. No.
just boundaries.
Boundaries. Okay, I can respect boundaries. I just wanted to bring it up, you know.
But look for that dragon lady.
Can I?
Dragon lady, the dragon, you mean Cyan Wrath? Didn't we kill her?
I don't know. I mean, go find some other chick that writes dragons that's really bad.
Tiamat
Listen,
killed
I'm sure there's
Cyan
plenty.
Yeah, Tiamat killed Cyan Wrath.
Actually,
Yeah, but then also that comes back to Malcolm being busy. The NPC machine is broke. Because wherever.
What are you asking? What are you looking for?
Where's where's my ex?
No, she never asked that. No.
What happened?
My ears are burning.
I thought you were talking to me. Sorry.
What's the name of Kataya? Where's Kataya? Where's my
There
tobacco?
you go. But you need to stay focused, okay? You need to be in like mom mode because you're like raising our next like.
Well, that's the thing is I don't know if I'm gonna be raising her. I don't know if that's the best idea. Like
She's
Tempe
going to
her dad.
Candlekeep. She's gonna be raised in Candlekeep.
She's going to boarding school.
Yeah.
She's
People
going to
just, like,
Xavier's home
There's
for
just, like,
gifted
a shot
youngsters.
of like someone walking by, like Raynar, and you all just like bickering. Like,
Hey,
in a
mind your
group.
business.
They just like kind of keep going.
Where's Volo? Demetria's mentally going down the list of like everyone whose name she knows in Waterdeep. Like, I hope they made it.
Volo
Malcolm, I
decides
don't
to
know.
stay in Baldur's Gate.
I don't know how you want Lenore to emote to what I told her.
Okay,
When it comes to what I wrote. So
Robbie's
gotta jump to what I know you're doing, Robbie, but
Demetra, if you look back at Ravi, you see that he kind of looks down at the scroll and you see him kind of pass it and to something and it just kind of fades off. And he'll just kind of go over to you and be like, no matter where the future takes us, just know that getting to be part of this family has meant more than even anything that these accolades of being a hero or saving the world could ever mean. And he's gonna give you a hug.
And she hugs him back tightly and kind of mutters into his ear that getting to meet you is more important to me than all the rest combined. So I'm gonna miss you until my time here's up, and then good news is I won't miss you anymore.
Well,
And
I don't know if there's gonna be a. Well, actually, I don't know. Where did the so is there a afterlife for people who follow Bahamut right now?
yeah, well, you've been in. I remember episodes
Demetria
ago.
gives Robbie a pat on the back.
If you're
That's really
about,
cute that you think I'm going to go where I'm told after I'm dead.
oh, you were asking about her because Robbie's because Bahamut folks some of them have been in the palace, but they've been like outside the palace because Bahamut hasn't been there. So there's some place that they're going to. Ravi has clearly been to Salune's, domain in the moon, in this, like you said, in the moon seas and in that realm. Does that answer your
basically? Just gonna
Bahamut showed me that I could be better, but you're the first one who saw me when I was better, and being part of this family with you has been what has made me better. So I'm sure Bahamut Afterlife would be really cool, but I think you're stuck with me.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Tempe can shapeshift. I mean, Ravi can shapeshift, right?
He can go into a werewolf.
Okay.
Werewolf
Still, he can still do that though. Okay.
Yeah.
Wolf it up.
Tempe's going to like get up from Lenore from hugging to Lenore. They don't hear him whisper to her, of course. I don't know how you want Lenore to hear Malcolm, but
she just whispers back to you, and I'm sending you what she tells you.
Tempe has a lot of secrets this game. You guys notice that?
No secret that he hated Stigop.
He stands up. Yeah, no secret there. He stands up and he looks at Robbie. Tempe says, I know that I know that we're about to lose you again. How about one more run?
We can do one more run. But then he goes up to you and goes, but no matter what, you guys aren't losing me. No matter what, I'm always going to be in here, and it's going to like tap your chest.
Tempe signs. He goes, I know. And then he goes to Demetria and he goes, I'll be right back. And he puts his forehead to hers, and he signs I love you.
Aww. Now
Demetria signs it back.
Now she doesn't need to look for a girlfriend.
I mean, she can still have a girl. Demetria has two hands.
He's gonna go over to Amnon, and he's going to hand Amnon one of his daggers, and it's like super ornate, and he's gonna hug Amnon and just be like, can you hold this for me? Because he straps everything to his back because he's going on a run, and thank you, Doc, for everything.
Amnon holds it like he reveres it, and then he puts it where like it can easily be had, he's gonna be like, well, I'll be returning this back to you after this contract. It's not the end.
And did I miss where Tempe is going?
Tempe's gonna run with Ravi.
Go frolic.
For one more frolic.
Mm-hmm. But while Tempe and was talking to the others, Robbie's gonna go up to Lenore, to get down on one knee and just present her with his rapier.
Oh, look at
and
me.
just say, God, you've grown so much since the first time I saw you.
She smiles.
Listen, you and I are very similar, and I know things might get difficult for you in the future, but I want you to be able to protect yourself, even though I know they're going to do a pretty damn good job of keeping you safe. It's important that you can keep yourself safe. And so I'm going to give you something that's very special to me and that set me off on my adventure that led me to meeting you. And I hope it sets you off on your own adventure. And I hope you meet some incredible people that are going to be in your life forever. And you get to just expand this little family that we started.
And he says it's the rapier.
Yeah, the rapier.
And she looks at it, kind of excited, and hugs you and thanks you. And then, like, as she hugs you, she says, "Thank you," but, and as she looks, you can kind of pull back from the hug, she says, "I'm just going to explode their heads." and then she like bursts into laughter and like kind of hooks the rapier around her side. As you start to see that she's kind of coming to her own, forming her personality, she says, "Well, thank you. Do you want this back?" And she pulls out the necklace that was taken from her. She has it now.
You hang on to that.
Okay. And then she kind of like turns for you to help her like fasten it, and then she holds it close and smiles. And then there's like a glow from behind you. There's a little bit of moonlight spills over Ravi, and Ravi knows it's not Salune, but is one of the moon spirits or the moonwalkers that is there. And they just kind of like kind of a pale cloaked female, like feminine. You can't really tell, like maybe whether male or female, but the figure gestures almost as to say, "Ravi, it's time." And then maybe even in Ravi's mind, he hears, we have much to do to repair and support Faerun.
I understand.
And so Ravi begins to leave. Just make sure if there's anything last.
Got to hit that run first. If you're leaving, we got to hit that run.
What's the run? Oh,
he's gonna disappear on the run.
Yeah. So you guys gonna see
on the run, right?
Let's do this. We'll start running, and then as we run, Robbie kind of just goes into his wolf form. At one point, he just fades into stardust.
As he sees Robbie like take off a little bit, as he buckles his shit to his back because he's about to go frolic, he hands his sash to Demetria. He's like, "Hold this for me. I'm gonna need it." And then he
slings it over her shoulder.
He just runs into the woods with Ravi.
Wow. And Ravi runs until he becomes wolf form. And it's almost like as close as they're like getting to the woods as they kind of begin to close the difference, Ravi just becomes kind of light that kind of like fades. and only one person enters the woods, and that's Tempe, and disappears from sight.
Demetria tries to act tough like she's not crying and goes and kind of tugs Lenore into her side, very like brusque dad trying to show affection and pat on the shoulder.
This might be an appropriate place for 2 days later. What do y'all think?
Rebuilding montage.
Yeah, so I imagine there's been a lot of like helping over the past couple days, and we pick up on a day where a lot of that darkness has cleared and the sun has come out, even though it is still, you know, a place that is desolate and devastated. But we find Demetria kind of like, you know, arms out, like armor off, you know, like kind of like in everyday like worker kind of gear. I imagine maybe your crest and your shields, but all of you kind of like, those of you who are still here, working to help wherever you can in just the rebuilding process, just in the support process right now. Some of the metallic dragons have been helping as well, picking up giant boulders, moving things, and they've been flying back and forth across the city. And you can see some of the ships in the harbor that are starting to, you know, things are starting to kind of work again, but it's really, like I said, it's touch and go at this point. Demetria, I imagine, is wiping a little bit of sweat off her brow. Where do we find Jakartha and Amnon right now in this scene? Are they just there kind of toiling? And if there's anything you want to add to this, Demetria, is like what you're actually doing, or, you know, the work that you're doing, if you want to kind of add a little more flavor to it, you're all welcome to kind of fill out the scene a little bit.
I do not care that you hit your thumb with a hammer. I am not using cure wounds.
Come on, man, I've only got 2 of these. I'm all out of lay on hands. I use it on other people. Come on, be a friend.
Put a band-aid on it. There are more serious injuries that could occur, especially people falling from high places.
I'm thinking that there is one injury that might be happening soon. Look at I think it's also less so just pure rebuilding, like it's not Demetria with a tool belt, as great of a visual as that is, but that Demetria wants to make sure that no unsavory types are going to try and take advantage of the city being this destroyed, kind of going on Batman patrol with
kind of policing
with the Harlequin, kind of trying to make sure that making sure that like Xanathar.
Well, you haven't seen the Harlequin since this, so but but you know,
picking up what he was looking for him, just making sure that, you know, that refugees aren't getting taken advantage of, that the cast lanterns aren't trying to buy up too much land and become, you know, like Monopoly. But more so that than Demetria building houses, as fun as that would be.
Yeah. And,
as much as she wants to wear a tank top.
Surprisingly, there's been no word of the Castellanters. You don't know, no one's like seen them as well. As you're walking the streets, it's later in the day, and now the sun is kind of closer to setting. You're walking some of those older streets where you're still kind of going to, people are like almost like making sure people aren't in these places where they can be helped. Also making sure like rogues and cutthroats haven't come into and are taking advantage. Just like you said, Amnon and Jakartha, are you patrolling with Demetria?
Oh, you broke up there, Malcolm.
Oh, are you patrolling with Demetria?
If she wanted me to, of course I would.
If you wanted to be doing like helping the injured or something, you could be doing that too. I think it's something Demetria is cool with as a level 19 paladin.
Well, I honestly picture Amnon summoning everything he can to help rebuild. So he has an elemental, an aberration, and helping rebuild. And so he's just like,
he's been doing that all day. So what I was saying is he's been helping all day, and maybe he's just taking a little evening stroll while Demetria's like head on a swivel, you know, looking to.
Oh, yeah, that sounds totally cool. Yeah, that's what you'd be. Because you'd just be yelling at the elemental for putting shit together wrong the whole time.
As they walk the streets, can I have a perception check from all of you who are there?
Oh, an actual check. Don't mind if I do.
Oh.
Perception. I don't think I have a good bonus to that. What a way to end that. Yeah, minus 11. I'm a little tired.
Okay.
I'm a little tired.
What'd you
not
get?
gonna
What'd you
lie.
get, Amnon?
I got a 4. I'm really tired.
Okay. Still
Maybe we
enough.
should take a break. Like,
So, what you, as you all have been really pushing yourself, almost like in a sense of like maybe even feeling kind of like loopy, just from being like up so long, not sleeping well. Demetria is the first to like feel like she sees someone that she knows, and like there's a lot of people moving through the streets in this area, in the crowd. You know, the sun's kind of said maybe it's like silhouette, and she's like the person looks familiar. And it looks, then she sees the mask. Oh my God, it's a Harlequin, and then it's gone. And then suddenly, there's a little fluttering. It's almost like a butterfly, and then it's bigger than that. And you look up Demetria as this paper bird flutters up to you and lands where you can pick it out of the air. And it's holding some other parchment, like folded up paper, in its little mouth. And of course, you're able to unfold the bird, and the paper says, when you fold it, there's a little message that says, "Thank you for getting Lady Talon and the children out of the city. I am watching them because I am not alone anymore. We have eyes everywhere." And as you look back up to, you see a Harlequin in the streets, and then it's gone. And you look over, you see another one, and then that one is gone, and another one, and that one is gone. And then you hear a little caw, like a bird call, and you look up towards one of the roofs, and there's one sitting there, and he pulls up the mask, and it is Elric. He just waves.
waves to him back.
And then like it's signed off, and then it says the Harlequin, but it also says like kind of like the PS mark on the note to use the extra parchment to call me if need be. So basically, and instructions to make the little origami bird.
little like step-by-step folding instructions.
Yeah, like folding instructions.
Point A to point B, point C to point B.
Pre-folded, perforated lines, so you just can't fuck it up.
I mean, he knew he was giving this note to Demetria, so.
And as quickly as you share it to Raka, Raka looks up and then he's gone. No, and Raka saw, Amnon saw some of the Harlequin.
I was like, wait, what?
And
Raka's
then as you
out
look
of
up, he's gone. But yeah, it's just like that. It all happens very quick. But Elric sends his thanks.
As Amnon sees him disappear all around him and everything, Amnon just like has this huge grin on his face, and he just starts laughing because he's so proud of him for what he's attained on his own, and just continues walking just like casually down the street.
I think with Amnon laughing and Demetria realizing that Waterdeep's in good hands, she's gonna grab like the back of his collar and be like, "Nah, Doc, we need sleep. Come on." They're good.
Oh, I'm not tired yet.
How many fingers?
It doesn't matter.
You continue walking, and you see that the around the corner, see that the Temple of Selune still stands, so it's good it's still there. And then you strangely have a voice in your back of your mind somewhere, Demetria. It sounds like Eldricon, and it says, "What are you going to do with the deck?"
I forgot about that.
Demetria has not forgotten about that. Demetria was thinking about it because I think that these could be very dangerous in the wrong hands, and they could be very dangerous in the right hands. So I'm thinking I might hold on to these for a little while until I find an avenue that I trust to get them off my hands.
To tell you the truth, I think those are the best hands.
That means a lot to Demetria. Demetria hides a manly tear. Okay. Shut up. Whatever.
Demetria, I'm a telepath. Come here, give me a hug.
She gives him a hug. The best hand is the left hand.
You find yourself down by the...
That'll be our new sigil will be a left hand with like a spread deck of cards.
Oh yeah.
You find yourself down by the docks, and you notice that there's work being done down there. One of the docks is being repaired, and you see there's this big bronze dragon flying big containers and moving them from ships to shore and sometimes to ship and then lands. And as like almost waving the dragon in, there's a young fellow, and Demetria and Amnon know it as Elias Rin, who's like, right there, yep. And then on top of sitting on the dragon is kind of pushes back her fur, shakes it, the spikes that have grown, is a gray cat woman with gloves on, Kataya, as she leaps off the dragon and gives kind of a thumbs up.
All right, the B Squad.
And then and as the B Squad kind of, she looks over and notices you, Demetria.
Demetria does a quick, awkward, am I slumping, shoulders back, flicks the biceps a little bit.
Amnon goes, and then walks away.
She kind of like, and suddenly Kataya like kind of leaps over like one of the boxes that goes down and like jumps off of a couple of crates, back cartwheels over and lands right in front of you and goes, I heard that. We're not the B Squad. We went and found all the metallic dragons for you.
Okay, yes, but you may have done that. But at the end of the day, I mean, only one group, only one squad took out Tiamat, and there's a letter for the people who take out Tiamat.
I'm sorry. Let me curtsy. Champions of Waterdeep. I'm so sorry. I should have known better.
Did somebody call for me? I heard Champions of Waterdeep.
I mean,
as I was telling you, we need to prioritize building the taverns. It is essential that we can get a good drink.
I agree. Anyway,
I mean, there's
she's got like
something
this
about
big backpack on that has like a bunch of like her stuff and the gear in it and stuff like that. She kind of picks up because like they're finishing up for the day. We're all gonna go get a drink.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking if he's it's true about good drinks, and I mean, I was gonna say B Squad or not, being on the right side of good and evil looks good on you.
She kind of goes. She kind of says thank you with her eyes and starts walking, off in the streets. And we kind of like swipe pan.
As she turns around, Demetria's like,
you're all having drinks.
Not
at
evil.
The yawning
Hot
portal.
woman who's not evil. Thank God.
Demetria looks once you look back at Amnon. Amnon's like.
And so they're like, there's everyone's kind of like having a lot of people, like the yawning portal is packed, and folks are like drinking and stuff. And
Demetria does put a hand on Tempe's shoulder,
something slithers out of there, and someone stabs it, throws it back in.
Demetria puts her hand on Tempe's shoulder and is like, okay, you hating Stagat, kind of cute at a point. Please don't hate this one. I actually like this one.
Is Tempe there? Tempe never came back.
Tempe never came back?
No, he ran into the woods. You haven't
That
seen
man's
him.
gone.
You motherfucker! I knew that's what you were doing when you were chatting with Malcolm. Here, have my dagger. Here, have my belt.
Tempe
So
ran.
in this moment, you have a moment thinking about like Tempe, like almost thinking about what it would be like to slap Tempe on the back, and suddenly you realize, like, yeah, he's not here to have that moment. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
He basically ran until his body was unable to move. Oh. We don't know where he is yet because it's only been 2 days, so I can't. he actually, I don't know. Tempe could probably run longer than 2 days, so he might still be out there running. Just like
what's his constitution score? What's his athletics?
He might still be running. I don't know. He might be out there. He's just running.
I would 100% have Axel track you.
As soon as Ravi dissipated and the tears started flowing, he ran until the muscle burned through all of it until he could not.
Pepe, blinded, runs into a tree. Has been knocked out for the past 2 days.
He's laying like 35 feet into the woods. Y'all just
came out with the fever dream.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to stop the flow of when you guys fast forwarded to 2 days, because I know that if I didn't come back, you guys might not have went ahead so quickly, but I don't. Here we are. So Tempe's been gone for at least the 2 days so far. And you don't know what he told Lenore. I guess you know what he told Amnon.
Well, actually, because What did he tell Amnon? What did he tell Amnon? No one told Demetria anything. What's going
No,
on?
wait. All you told me to do is hold your thing, and I said I was going to return it, and you didn't say nothing after that.
Yeah, and you gave me your belt.
Yeah.
Sash.
And you said that you're going to be back for the belt. So you gave me this conflicting thing.
He didn't say when, so yeah.
He didn't say
Demetria,
what
Tempe's doing.
When Demetria notices that Tempe hasn't returned from the frolic, she will turn to Lenore and be like, how long do you think we should let him run this out before we go grab him?
Oh, I'm already looking for him, so...
And Lenore would have told you, like, he's going to be gone for some time. I'd give him that he's just taking space to himself. She doesn't know where he went, but based on what he whispered to her and the way he whispered, she knew he was going. So right now, it sounds like we are in a flashback, right? So we are back after Tiffany. Okay, we're in a flashback. Tiffany's left.
Demetria's gonna look at Lenore, and then lift her head to go look out into the wilderness where Tempe has run off. And I know I jokingly said that Demetria was tired. She is just tired. She wants, before she had wanted, right, the approval of these people she loved more than anything. And I think right now that the city is safe and she's learned more about herself and about the nature of this universe, that now what she wants is a little bit of peace. And so I think she understands Tempe's reasoning for why he's gone off right now. So she'll just look out into the woods where now the fireflies are sparkling where Ravi and Tempe ran off, and then she'll take the stash from where she's slung it over her shoulder, and she'll belt it onto her waist and put her hand on Lenore's shoulder and lead her into the city.
So coming back from the flashback and watching Demetria kind of like nursing her drink, looking into her drink, like as we kind of spiral out of the drink back into the place that we're at, and some of the music is playing and stuff. Kataya's like, you okay?
I'm better than I thought I'd be by this point, but I think okay is going to take a little while.
I get it. She like licks her paw and then takes another shot, like licks the salt off her paw, takes another shot, and she like leans into you and she goes, I do get it. She goes, this whole being heroes thing, A team, B team, whatever you want to call it, it's way tougher than being scoundrels, you know? And it's fun, but I'm tired too. I'm thinking about taking a break and hanging up both hats. Just maybe going somewhere and relaxing for a while. Her peers put up, she goes, maybe you'll join me? And then she kind of like goes back to nursing her drink.
I think Demetria doesn't give her an answer right away. I think Demetria has to think about it.
Understood. Yeah, and she kind of like knows. She watches. She doesn't even get the answer, so she like watches your countenance and she like, I'll give you some time. We're going to play some darts or something. What do you say, Snatchel? And then the back flips out. And he's like, Snatchel want to play darts. Snatchel want to play darts. And his like little grimmer hand. Like the back. And they go off and like disappear into the crowd. And like there's a bunch of ruckus, and then like the bard stops and someone comes on. Is this thing on? And he starts telling a story, and everybody's like, "Boo! Get off! Put the bard back on!" And then Volo's drunk ass is like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I was just telling a story." It's like, did you guys know that before all this, Tiamat didn't even exist? He gets hit with a tomato. He gets down.
Poor never gets any respect from anybody. Tiamat did not do Waterdeep destruction.
We cut to somewhere in the forest on a peak while they're all like in Waterdeep. Tippy, you've been running. You're tired. You finally camped out. You're like camped on this little, and you got a little fire going. Right, it's dark. The stars are out. it kind of takes you back to that moment when you all camped with the werewolves in the woods, you know, with Robbie and everyone. But now, like for a first time in a long time, you're doing the travel thing like by yourself, right? You haven't come across anything that you had to fight, thankfully. And so you're just resting. You've hunted and you've scoured something to make your grub for the evening. What do you? If it was just a scene with you, what are you doing? And then I will say also, I left kind of Jakarta out of that, but when we go back to Waterdeep Jakarta, you can feel free to kind of implement yourself in there if you got something for us. But no, what's going on with Tempe right here? And if there's nothing to share and he's just being stoic, that's fine too.
By day 2, right? This is day 2, right? Tempe's finally like at an exhaustion point. It's like the nighttime of day 2, right? And he decides at that point to then make this camp. You know, he's been running and crying, and while at the same time every muscle is on fire. There's not a spot on his body that is just not like screaming in pain at this point. He's been running for so long. His face is like, you know, chafed from crying and you know, I guess the wind. He wouldn't be running that fast, of course, but like just, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The elements, right? As he sits like on his knees, like sobbing in front of this fire, you know, there's like there's an anger that bubbles up inside of him. And he like uncontrollable, you know. And he, you know, he had like a sack that he had with water in, and he douses the fire, and you know, he doesn't want the warmth of the fire. He wants to feel the cold of the darkness. And he could hear predators around him and, you know, animals in the forest, and he can hear them closing in on him as he is still like, you know, sobbing and really like going through it, you know, like punching the ground. His fists are raw. He's like, this is worse than hell. Hell would be a reification for him. He just begins to walk in the dark with this anger.
As he stands to walk, he feels the back of his skull, some clicks there, and he realizes he's touching like the back of maybe a dagger or a pointed blade. She's like, and you hear her voice say, "You made it really easy to sneak up on you. Such a small world." Then it drops away and it goes, "Why so angry?" And since you're still kind of like halfway on your knees, Burfoot kind of steps around and looks at you and goes, "You left so many trails, so many pathways this entire time. You're really easy to track. You gotta be better. Look at that face. I'm angry too. I'm always angry." She looks around. "You traveling alone? Where's everyone at?" "It's okay. You don't have to respond.
He's stunned.
Let's be angry together." She pulls another bow, and she looks at the fire. She's like, "You weren't eating rabbit, were you?"
Tempe laughs and shakes his head no.
Okay.
"What are you doing here?"
"Well, you're in my neck of the woods. I went down to, and you all are like near the high forest, and she starts, as you walk and talk, Bertha starts to tell a story about when she left, you know, the left hand. She went off on her own and just kind of was surviving and was thinking about going back to the Fae when she started to see that things were getting really bad in and around Sword Coast. And so she ended up, like, long story short, she ended up fighting with the High Elves in the forest and helping them, right? And helping, like, and start to realize that the power was getting really close to crossing over, because the veil is very thin within the high forest, right? And it's an easy crossover for Tiamat to cross over into her home. And so she just decided it was time to stop running. And she turned and decided to get back in the fight. But she felt like she was at the right place. She was where she needed to be. And she had your familiar scent come into her woods. So if you need a partner, I'm here. If not, kind of been tired. I'm ready to move on too. If it's up to you.
I wish we got to spend more time together before all of this. I don't, where I'm going, I'm not sure anyone else will want to go.
Sounds like a place for me to go then, because I'm not sure I want to go anywhere, but I know I need to keep going. And from the look in your eye, I shouldn't probably ask if Dre's okay. And so, no need to answer that question. Let's go where no one wants to go. Why go alone?
Let's go.
Perfect. Well, so let's talk about tracking 101, so you stop leaving these kind of footprints and then they kind of like go off into the darkness. Some time goes by now, several weeks. We're almost into a month since this has happened. Is there anybody who wants to... Now, let me give you a couple things that I think are starting to happen in the world around you, to give you a feeling of what's happening around the characters. Kind of like montaging. You start to see that the Waterdeep is rebuilding. Now, it does not look like this yet, but I think in years to come, what you'll see, you can start to see just in the first few months that the way this it's a different kind of structure where the city is being rebuilt around this kind of mountain that is now at its center, and already talks immediately of people are being drawn. Those who are looking for wealth or looking to start anew have been starting to be drawn to the mountain to explore it. Miners looking for precious metals and precious gems and things like that are starting to, come to. So it's kind of like a little gold rush going on very early in the midst of the reconstruction process. At the same time, Lady Silverhand, Lenore has gone off to Candlekeep to start her. You all know exactly where she is if you need her.
Can we have a sending stone? Can that be like the going away present?
Sure.
Demetra would want a sending stone and be like the annoying mom and be like, so how are you doing? Are you making friends?
I don't think that's... She's like... She's been like enjoying herself. It's like extremely safe because there's so much magic and like 3 like barrier fields over the place.
Okay, remember, don't
like
put your thumb doesn't go inside your fist when you punch someone, just in case. Remember, like I showed you, the thumb goes on the outside.
Can Amnon just like give Demetra like a tampered stone so that it would just go with her Lenore's voice going I'm good.
That's an automatic.
You give her a fucking like toddler bone.
I'll be like, you're welcome.
There's like a shot of Lenore like talk with her friends, and the stone is sitting there just buzzing back to Demetra.
Demetra's like pacing around like pacing around the tavern like something must be wrong. She always picks up. She knows I call it this time every week.
How old is Lenore at this point?
It's only been a few months, so still very young. Still
Okay.
like, you know, I think we left her at like, I want to say like 7 or 8. Like, so she's still very young. She's like in a very like, you know, middle school age like group.
Oh my gosh,
that-
can I somewhere in the ruins get her that plushy beholder that I wanted so bad, and I can send her off
Absolutely.
with the
We have a
beholder.
shot of you sending her the beholder, or giving her the beholder before you left, finding it all. It's kind of half singed and super dirty. Of
I
course, you
fixed
like
it up.
cleans
I'm mending
Yeah,
cantrip.
you absolutely.
Jakartha can help me mending cantrip this, and
Yeah, so that's kind of where you at. If there's anything you all want to add to this, or a scene you want to, if you either want to ground it in a scene and just kind of role play from there, or if you just want to role play some very loose things that are happening during this time. Now, one thing I will say is actually give me a grounded scene. This will be important. I'd like to know where you all are at on this day where Demetria is trying to get a hold of Lenore and not, you know, getting a hold of her. Where are you all at? What are you?
As spirits.
I had a funny idea of Amnon coming back from the contract from Asmodeus, going, "I'm back." And
So
then
I take it you're trying to rebuild the her house of spirits. So like I
oh
imagine
yeah,
a
House
couple
of
months.
Spirits
It's
is
just
getting House
the
of Spirits.
foundation.
This is my vision. House of Spirits rebuilt, block long. We have the tavern with alchemist / doctoring, dedicated offices. Unlike just working out of his room like last time.
There's like a DJ booth.
Yeah, there's like a DJ booth. Also, you know, sort of like halfway house in situation where it's like if you need a place to stay, if you don't have a place, if you don't have the money, you can post up here for as long as you want, because Demetria is never going to leave Raynor or Silverhands alone when it comes to funding this stuff in rebuilt Waterdeep. So just getting a
youth
place,
hostel.
youth hostel, getting a youth hostel shelter in place kind of situation set up. Demetria is like running herself ragged. If Amnon's off in hell when this is happening, Demetria is pulling like 13, 14-hour days, getting stuff built, helping people out, and then just like at the end of the day, like collapsing in the bedroom, giving like a big sigh and just putting her hand on the sash that Tempe gave her and just letting that kind of ground her for a moment before she passes the fuck out.
This is my absolute favorite Demetria. This is my absolute favorite fucking Demetria. This is who she was always meant to be.
Now it's only been a few months, so this is literally just plans on paper mostly, and there's a foundation for the House of Spirits, and there's some people working, and someone has come by. Clearly, you all have some money and some leverage being champions, but there's been a line of credit extended to you by Raynor for this project because it seems like very extensive.
She's like cracking her knuckles, like it's for the kids. Raynor.
I'm sorry, Dr. Amnon is still on his trip. I don't have an exact time when he'll be back. Please try again. I will send a message as soon as he is returned.
Jakartha at the desk with a sending stone to his ear, like, no, we can schedule you 2 months maybe.
Suddenly,
We'll
the
get
sky
I can do
begins
minor
to,
care, he can do surgery. I can't do that.
sky begins to grow dark. It's like it was just sunny a minute ago, and then it's dark, and you look up, and out of nowhere, there's like there's an eclipse, where the moon and
Oh,
the
fuck
sun
no, please, no,
intersect.
please. Okay, wait.
And then just as they hit, kind of the sun comes back out as you like wipe your eyes, because everybody looked up for a moment there, and the kind of the black blotches go away. Familiar figure standing, and Ravi standing right in front of you, Demetria and Amnon. A physical Ravi.
Are you fucking with me?
Yeah. It's like
Inside check.
Wait, is Amnon back?
Demetria's kind of got PTSD.
I know. I was like, I had like a thing that's going, but I don't know.
Amnon, did you ever leave? I mean, 2 months ago, did you tell me did you leave and go to hell?
Well, you said that there was a couple months, so it sounded like there was.
Oh
enough-
no! I told you you have to decide. You have to tell me when, because remember you have to burn the thing and stand in the circle to go. So if you haven't done that, you're still here with your friends, right? Like you're.
Demetria, if Amnon starts like, Demetria's helping to build all this stuff, she's like, look, I've got it. Jakartha's here. Kataya hasn't gone on vacation yet. If you gotta go do what you gotta do, Doc, I'm gonna try and do my best to hold down the fort. You do what you gotta do.
It's up to you. Yeah, I thought you were here. So, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So no, if it's been a couple months, it's time to go. So Amnon will make the circle, and he lights his. He has a fire, and then he starts lighting the parchment, and as he feels himself disappearing, Amnon looks to Demetria and goes, "Listen, there's just one last thing that's really important that I gotta tell you." And as he fizzles away, going, "The stone is fake."
Demetria like blinks.
I didn't think. I thought it was real. I just thought you had put a spell on it that was allowing her so that
I tampered the stone.
She could like
turn.
She can turn
made
it off.
Actually, I imagine Amnon was the one who enchanted it because you can do that, right? Make sending
stuff.
Because there's plenty of times where you've really been talking to Lenore, and there's times where she turns on the power and just puts it down because
she
sends you the voice.
So right when I leave, I want to just let that go, and then so I don't have to deal with it.
Demetria smashes a bar stool that she has been meticulously trying to rebuild.
And so as you leave, Amnon, fast forwarding back to this moment, Ravi looks very much physical, and then you feel a bit of a chill run over you, Demetria, as you automatically know, as I think you would know, the contract has been used and fulfilled. But the contract has been, and you do owe time served when you pass on. Time to serve.
Demetria does not care. Demetria kind of takes a moment, lets it sink in. She bursts out laughing, runs to sweep Ravi up in a big squeezing hug, and says, "Oh, 500 years is worth a day of this, kid, trust me."
And then, is it the 500 years, Malcolm?
It is 250 each.
If I wasn't so happy, I'd be so mad at you.
Well, you think you could just take a quick 500-year vacation from me?
Well, now that means you're stuck with me for 250 years for sure.
I wouldn't have it any other way. He just hugs you really tight.
And she just rests her cheek on the top of his head.
So where is everyone?
Well, well, Amnon's in hell, but in a good way this time. And Tempe is... Well, Tempe kind of took off when you and him took off running. He said he would be back, but...
Hasn't come back yet?
He'll come back when he's ready. It's Tempe. Unless you're thinking that we might get the fam together on the road one last time.
If he's going through something, I think we should be there to help him.
All right, do you have lead the way?
And I'll shift into wolf form.
And I climb on your back.
For all time's sake.
No, Dr. Amnon was not calling you a fake stone. You're real. You're good.
Hey Jakarta, man the everything. We'll be back.
So they're planning to go. They're planning to go on an adventure right now to go look for a Tippy.
Quick thing, I'm going to before I do that. I forgot I had this spell. Demetria, I can do something. I can find out where he is.
Ooh, I also have locate person. So.
Oh, I have
my message you, Malcolm. I message you, Malcolm. I message you.
Is locate person? Is there a range on that?
Let me see. Oh, I have locate creature. I don't have locate person.
Yeah,
he's a creature.
I have scry, so I can scry him.
Describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. I think Tempe's a creature. We're all creatures, you know, in God's bestiary.
I don't know if it's like 1,000 feet or something like that, like a liquid object.
As long as within the creature you described, different from within 1,000 feet. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's limited.
So I'll scry him. We'll find out where he is, and then when we get close enough, we'll locate creature.
He is locked in Mortal Kombat with Kana.
Why they were bros? Why would they be in Mortal Kombat?
They're playing Mortal Kombat.
Oh, they're with Ebony and Aramis playing a Mortal Kombat tournament. It didn't like you being on the window, my dude. You're not allowed until you're bigger and smarter. You're not allowed on the window.
Oh.
Wait, did y'all forget Kana got completely corrupted by the Abyss and he's just out there wandering?
I thought he was in the Abyss still. Has he gotten out of the Abyss?
No, before the fight with Tiamat, he got shit out of the Abyss when Demogorgon died.
And when the Demogorgon died and landed in the mud, and he was lying there in that space.
But that was just a joke. That's up to Sean if he wants that to be the case. I'm just spitballing ideas. I'm an idea guy.
I was typing and wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Tempe is really quickly putting on a fake beard and mustache and to try and enter the witness protection program.
No. Malcolm, I chatted you for some input.
I'm saying I'm not gonna respond to you. I'm just gonna take what you sent me and use it. If you want to send me more, you can. So if the fact that I have responded, I have read what you sent me. I got it. Just noted.
Yeah. I want to give you the freedom to do your thing because I think that. Yeah.
Because it's been several months. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll ask the group here is this is coming to a defining moment where it sounds like maybe even a moment for a quick break. We're gonna be close to ending here soon, even if we take a 5-minute. But what I'll say is, I just want to know, are they planning if they're planning to go after? Okay, so they're looking. They're casting spell? Who's casting these spell? Are they both casting their locate spells to?
I'm going to cast Scry.
Okay.
That will show us what he's
show you what you see.
So it's a wisdom save on Tempe's part.
You see Tempe.
Yeah, so if Tempe doesn't want this, he can do try to save against it.
He is oh yeah, because Tempe, you can try to fight against them scrying on you. Do you at all or no?
Tempe's unable to make that decision.
So what you see is Tempe lying in the snow in the extreme cold, slowly bleeding out. He's badly injured. And he's kind of laying almost like, snowman angel in the cold and just looking out towards the sky, almost in acceptance. And you can see a shadow kind of looming over him, kind of walking up on him very slowly. And then there's almost an image behind him, which as it contorts, it looks like it's a crashed airship. And then that's what you can see of the vision. I don't know how long you're able to hold it with scrying.
Up to 10 minutes, I think.
Megatron is adorable.
Thank you. He's purring up a storm right now. He's such a he purrs at everything. You just have to look at him.
I can feel it through the camera. Look at that face.
Tempe, you're in this position. Here's what I'll take from you.
Would you disappoint this boy, Sean? Will you make this cat feel sad? Look at him. Look at him. He loves Tempe. Tempe's his favorite character.
Tempe, I need a death save, and then if you pass it, I need a wisdom save.
Okay. Can I roll a death save? It's just a D20, right?
Yeah, it's just a straight D20.
Let's roll it. 15.
Okay. So now give me your wisdom save.
Six.
Okay. The figure that looms over Timpy. You can't see the figure because you can just see Timpy. Everything else is like, it's like he's clear and everything else is like a shifting, like in sands or like water, and so it's hard to see who that other figure is. And the other figure just kind of cackles and looms a hand out, and then Timpy kind of slowly rises up to his feet. His black has always, his new black outfit still on and all that cold, and he looks fine. He kind of like cracks his neck, and he opens his eyes, and they're red, and he smiles, and he begins to walk off away from you with that figure. And after 10 minutes, it slowly fades. Walking in the cold with no problem. He should have hypothermia. He should be dead. And they just walk together side by side. That's what that one spell what it gets you. So he's somewhere in the sea, near the Sea of Ice, somewhere possibly north. You can continue to triangulate him and go after him. Absolutely, if you want.
I mean, yes. I don't think there's any question as to
so
what.
Give me the montage of you all preparing, and what here's what I'll say is we actually don't need to take a break. What's the montage of the group getting together to go after Timpy?
Locking and loading. Armor comes out the closet. Armor goes on.
So, is Jakartha staying to watch everything?
Just
Unless you're willing to ride with us, you can watch the home front.
Demetria throws the tank top on.
Oh, yeah.
His family.
Demetria's like shaving the undercut in. She was letting it grow out. She's getting crisp. She stone calls Lenore and lets Lenore know, like, hey sweetie, you can stay there if you want, but by the way,
we're bringing Daddy home. Just
Daddy's having a little bit of an episode.
Daddy's
I could have been sipping Mai Tais with a hot furry chick, and instead I'm going up to the snow to save your dumb
You all
ass.
just can't say no. Yeah, right? They just can't stay out of this adventuring life, right? Like
As soon as I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I mean, what else are we going to do?
Kataya and Elias see you all leaving. She sees you She sees you like fully suited for the first time. It's been some months now, and you're like fully suited. And Kataya's like, where are you going? What are you doing?
Tempe's
I know I didn't give me an answer, but I thought we were close.
I know it's like a thing. It's hard to explain. It's not like a romantic thing, but it's like a really committed thing. Like,
I get it.
Fuck it, and she grabs her and she kisses her.
I love it. So
Robbie's just like looking at Elias like, hey.
Oh yeah, because Robbie's there now. Like, and Elias is like, you look familiar. Have we met? Like,
Dimitri, we gotta go.
No, because did you kick it with Elias in Baldur's? No, that was a different.
No, that was a different.
dude.
So Elias, you've actually have not seen since you were dressed up in as the print.
By Obaya, yeah.
Yeah, with Obaya.
Obaya.
Speaking of, I do have a question. Where is Obaya? What's she up to?
Yeah, Obaya has been around, and so she's just literally been mostly helping with which I should have brought in. She's been helping kind of with that whole like under network of like help in like assassins who are more so like helping to protect Waterdeep, where guards like those. She's kind of Obaya has stepped in and taken the place of Xanather in a way, but at a higher level, because she also has like network on all the trade, all the goods, all the treasures. And so she's kind of running a different, so it's less about like, she's not necessarily trying to be a crime boss, but she's willing to go under the radar with the way Lady Silverhands and Vajra
Not a crime boss, but she's the boss.
But she is the boss, yeah.
She's so cool. I love her.
We're low on supplies. I'm gonna go to the black market to get these supplies.
She's completely black market. So she is the black market and has kind of like taken, so she is like running that whole show. Absolutely. Yeah.
Jakarta's just looking at a huge stack of papers like how to run a bar, how to run a tavern, how to run a metal hunt.
How to run a youth hostel.
And so, and actually, almost like we had to montage. There's a scene where you're in Obaya's, like her tower survived as well, so she's like, all that stuff she has. She's like suiting you out like the best armors, magical weapons. Like she's just kind of like, you take what you need, right, for the adventure. And this does level you all to who's going on this venture to go after Tempe. You're all level 20.
You can't see my cat. He's being super cute. Level 20. Fuck yeah.
Wait, does Tempe level up too?
Tempe's level 20, he's just on his ass level. Yeah, Tempe's level 20. But now, like with Red Eyes, level 20, and like
even I don't know how this is gonna go, because I mean, this is any given Sunday right now. I'm here for the ride.
We're all on this ride.
I hope I didn't fuck you up, Malcolm.
No.
Okay,
I left this. An epilogue like this is it's very loose. We're all like playing storytelling here. So this is cool. This is D&D in its purest form.
We get the band back together. It's been a couple of months.
So we watched the group saying their goodbyes after meeting with Abaya. She's like, "You all look good. Okay, perfect. Be on your way." We watched them like setting out on a very early morning, harkening back to after that first time they left Waterdeep, right? When it was right after they had gone through all of the Waterdeep heist stuff, right? And they were just about to set out on the road. Now they're setting off again, but now they're going north. They went south, and now they're just about to like march north and just keep pinpointing this. They have this like magical ping on their closest friend, and he stopped moving over the past few weeks. If you've been casting the spell and stuff, you've been noticing he's staying in one location. And it's north, and it's a northern island. It's gonna take you probably more than a month or two to even get there. You set your whether you're going by ship or trade, you've already got that all worked out. And we watched them kind of set sail or leave port. Any last comments from the group that's going? Demetria, Ravi, Jakarta stay back?
Yeah, he's staying back, and he just pulls out the Stone of Galore and like, "You're helping me with all this paperwork."
Jakarta has the Stone of Galore, by the way.
That's insane. I think that's perfect.
The Stone of Galore. I'm just imagining like a hostess stand with a Stone of Galore on it.
If that's all we're changing, I'm right.
As this all happens, we cut as they're leaving. There's a long table in the deep, dark palace, but still very gothic and beautiful. Black marble floors. Asmodeus sits across from Amnon, and he kind of shrinks the table to bring them closer. Another month in the real world has marched on. Amnon's been here for a while now. On the other side, Waterdeep has continued to march forward, and Lady Silverhand and Vajra have formed a new council. And that council, also, Raynar has gone back to Neverwinter and is kind of establishing he's becoming like a ruler that, unlike his father, based on the relationship that he's had with you all. And this council is now has the dwarves, the elves, the humans all sit on tieflings, every halfling. There's someone representative on this Waterdeep Council as they begin to rebuild, including the metallic dragons now have a representative that arrives and comes to these meetings. The metallic dragons have now actually agreed to be a part of the council and to actually take part and help in human affairs, where they've always kind of checked out and been like, you do your thing, we're good. Now they're not like super lovey-dovey about it. They can be very crass, but they are in the fight, seeing as they feel the absence of Bahamut and feel the duty to help the humanoids in this time of need. Now here we are, and Hale sitting across the table, And as Asmodeus has been talking to Amnon about becoming his warden here in Hale, because eventually Tiamat's body will manifest, and he wants you to help build out the rest of the collars, and to just be the warden of Hale, and to keep her here. He used to let her run unchecked, but here, under this new tutelage in Araka, you will manage all that. You'll be able to come and go as you please, but your main responsibility for all time will be to keep her in check. That in the contract is the sacrifice itself, that you will always be bound to this duty, if you choose to take it.
Amnon takes it proudly, actually. Like, that's exactly how he wants to honor his past wife and kid in the left hand. He wants to make sure that Tiamat never returns again.
Now, as you sign it, and then it burns across your signature burns across the page, and then goes red, like crimson, like blood, and then goes into settles itself into black ink. He goes, enough with that. And you guys have been negotiating for a few days and stuff. He goes, well, I did want to let you know this, because I'm trying to be more honest. And Asmodeus is, today he's wearing his hair very vampiric, black, all the way cascading down to the floor. It's kind of a reddish skin. He has nice handlebar mustache, deep crimson eyes. And he goes, well, I won your soul today, and I'm happy about that. And I think in a good way. I think we're both happy about our agreement. But I also won 2 of your other friends' souls recently, because they finally signed Mahidi's contract, he works for me. So they get 250 years in his service, and the fine print is they get to come and stay here with me for all eternity. And they don't get to go back to Selune or Bahamut. It's always been a part of the contract. I always get the souls. Hopefully you're cool with that.
Whose souls?
Oh, Demetria and Ravi.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
I'll play you for it, and a game of chess materializes.
Amnon is just gonna cross his arms and just look up and be like, no.
What do you mean? You can't.
That is not negotiable. I'm very happy to go to step 1 if you want to go to start. But no.
Amnon, you know the game we play here. This is it. There's always... We're devils. Well, I'm above you devils, but haven't I treated you well? I've been nice. I've done my part. Your friends will be treated well, but they just will power the structure that we need souls to keep this place, keep the lights on. It's really expensive here. They won't be in a soul coin or anything like that.
No.
I just was trying to be honest by telling you. How about this then? It seems like they need you on the other side right now, and I'm looking at some demonic activity that I'd like to have taken care of. So why don't I send you back? And if you accomplish the mission right now, they want to track down this Tempe. Maybe then we'll negotiate for those. Then we can renegotiate instead of the game. And he swipes the game away. Fair enough. Now, I get your resolution, but at some point, unless Amnon plans on attacking Asmodeus, he does realize there's very, very little in terms of agency here. In terms of he can always emote exactly how he feels, or unless he can propose something else, he does not have to go, of course, with what he's saying. There's always another way, maybe. But Asmodeus feels very much like he has the upper hand here.
Well,
I'm saying go on another mission with your friends. Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
yeah.
It's getting really cold over there. They could use your heat.
Well, listen, all I want to know is what the details of this is.
Little
So
rocket summon, you know, you call her back. She'll come out. She'll help you guys. And then... Sorry, continue.
What's going on at Tempe?
Oh, he says, well, your friend, he has been taken over by demons who are planning to use him against me, yours truly, and I don't like it. And it's not the Demogorgon this time around. It's some of the ones, those demon lords that I don't like, someone a lot worse. And so I think with you all's help, we can nip this in the bud. And then, you know, based on that, maybe I'll just scratch out that whole, like, they have to stay here in hell on their contracts and they can go back to Bahamut and Selene or wherever they want to go.
Shout out to Tempe for grabbing somebody's attention stronger than the Demogorgon. Wow. What the fuck?
A deacon?
Yeah, shout out to Tempe for this.
Yeah, seriously.
Really, let's examine what's going on here.
I mean, technically it ain't his fault. I'm just gonna put that out there. Technically,
Demetria was ready to buy a Hawaiian shirt, cut the sleeves off, and go hang out with Kataya, and you had to go pulling this.
Amnon looks at Asmodeus and holds out his left hand to shake it to accept the deal.
A good man. And as you shake, deal is made, and as soon as you shake it, you find yourself, so somewhere in the cold as you guys are trudging through the north, Amnon just appears in front of you like black smoke, like he literally nightcrawlered out of nowhere with his hand out like that.
Oh shit! Doc.
Big packing gear on his back, his staff.
Oh, this stuff stinks. What is this?
He's got a dragon collar, all his stuff, everything. Like, yeah. As the wind is whipping by.
Amnon looks up at Demetria and be like, listen, it was her idea to tamper with the stone, okay? I had just, it was just an idea that her and I were talking about once.
Demetria grabs Amnon's face and turns him to look at corporeal Robbie.
It's like, oh, well, that's new. And then he like kind of just gives a kind of a side eye to Demetria with a big smile and taps her on the back and then rushes and just gives Robbie a huge hug. Amnon just like, I never thought I'd hold you again.
Honestly, neither did I. It's been a weird time.
Yeah, hardly anything surprises me.
It has gone very different than what we all expect, as they are smack dab in the middle of another adventure. When Amnon arrives, it's been 6 months, and in the distance they can see this kind of like tower, castle, old ruin structure, and they know that's the dungeon, or that's the thing, that's where Tempe's at. And as they prepare to go there and find out what's beyond, as they always have, they go together as friends, and they go together as family. They go to get one of their own back, as they've done this entire time.
Hey, I gotta return that knife, man. I need to return it,
I'm not returning this belt because you're doing some stupid shit. You can earn your sash back. You are going to be sleeping on the couch for the next 250 years. Send our child off to boarding school so you can go run with whoever the hell that is.
We're all finna find out.
As we push up towards the sky, a cold white sky, time passes. A lot of time passes. And as it pushes forward, and we kind of come down on a house, a very familiar place. Looks exactly like the House of Spirits, but it's sitting very quaintly on a little rock overlooking the ocean. As we push in through one of the windows, there's a very old woman, and she sits in a chair in an upper room with two kids on her lap, very small children, one boy, one girl, who look very familiar to her. She's older, her hair is very gray silver. She's had a long life. And she says, and that second part of the story I'll tell you later. But that's a story for a different day. Of how the left hand went after Timpy, a close friend. But that's the story of how the left hand saved me so that you could all be here. And they go, wow, Grandma. Like, that's the best story. We love when you tell the Tiamat story. Rawr, 5 heads destroying Waterdeep. Did Waterdeep really used to look like that? She's like, yeah, it was rendered asunder. It's not the majestic place it is now. But bad times always lead to better times. And so she goes, it's time for bed. Sun's setting, And they go, okay. She takes him to the other room. The rooms are familiar, so essentially it would have been Ravi's room. She takes him into where Elder Khan's room is, and these 2 beds, and she puts him in the bed. She kisses him. She says, all right, good night. She says, good night. She like turns out the candles. She like snaps her fingers, and the candles go, they all go out. And then she saunters down, and she goes out on the front porch. She's lady kind of sits down, and she's prepared her nightly, like she always does, her coffee. And she pulls out her journal, like she normally kind of reads to herself, and looks out and watches the sunset. And as she prepares to settle down for the evening, that House of Spirits now sitting on the cliff, she looks over and sees her neighbors, the fine tiefling and genasi couple, husband and wife, and the husband is out there cutting wood. And she calls out, and she says, hey, walks over to the fellow, the tiefling fellow. She says, hey, in the morning, would you be happy to come over and have coffee and breakfast? My little ones, my grandchildren are over. And he looks up and he goes, yeah, absolutely. Happy to be there, Lady Lenore. And she says, good. I'll look forward to seeing you both, you and your lovely wife. Tell Durga I said good evening. And she goes back to sitting down. And as she settles in, she pulls out her journal and she kind of flips over to a writing or a passage, and she notices that there's one part of the passage that is clearly written in someone else's, or there's a parchment that is she slipped into the book that is someone else's writing, and then she's kind of under it she's added some writing of her own. For today, she's decided to read this passage. Cheryl, would you like to read the passage, or would you like me to read the ghost story? You sure? Okay. And so we flash back to her 20-somethings when she actually wrote the extra part of this, when she was in her little dormitory, when she was in her 20s, as her friends are like, come on, we're going out to like drink. And she's like, oh, I'm good. I'll be there. And she's sitting in her Candlekeep quarters, and she begins to kind of add to what Demetria, the portion that Demetria wrote. And we kind of flash back from her writing it then to her reading it now. And so what Demetria wrote was, this was always a ghost story. This was always about a haunting, about an awareness, about something that was needed, something that was wanted, something that we all once had that was now lost. Something that remained out of place and imperfection in a scene of our lives that, as we arrived at the threshold of that on that night, beneath the swinging sign of the yawning portal, to be haunted is to mourn. We were already mourning before death came to our doorstep. We mourned for those we loved and lost, for promises made that were never delivered, for homes we needed and were never given, for the love we deserved but never got. We mourned for our futures we wanted to build but never got to see, for the past we wanted to escape but were never forgiven, for the people we once were but never shall be again. This was always a ghost story. But it is not a tragedy. That is where the penmanship leaves for Demetria. And Lenore had begun writing. To mourn, Lenore says, boldly to the face. To mourn is to say boldly to the face, to the face of death. They lived. They were real. They felt the tremors of their footsteps, saw the light of the sunshine in their eyes. You cannot kill that. So long as I live, I shall keep them alive. Their life echoes upon mine like the ringing of a bell, unseen but heard unceasing. And to mourn is to declare loudly before the face of life, they are beyond you now. Your petty turns, your capricious tragedies cannot hurt them any longer. Their suffering is ended, their torture has ceased. They stand now beyond the rot of age that age brings, beyond the weakness of time and its hunger. How powerless you are. How immortal the ones that I love, living beyond life in the world beyond understanding. Where we mourned what we wanted but never got. We gifted to others what they needed, what we have to give. We opened our home to those cast out of their own. We shed blood for those who had no one to stand beside them. We forgave what was done to us. And what we're not given, we made for ourselves. And where love was taken from us, we took each other by the hand and declared before life and death together, triumphant. This was always a ghost story. But we will not mourn alone. And then she's just reading it now in her old age, rereading something she wrote so long ago. She closes it and sits beside her coffee getting cold. She never takes a sip. And she just kind of sits there very quietly watching the sunset. And the waters kind of lap on the shores below. And then off to the side, as the moon is beginning to come out, she sees Ravi there in the sky like she always has. She waves to him. And then where the sun is setting, she sees a fellow walking up. Milady. It's Kildren. She smiles. She only looks at him for a moment. She looks back towards the sun. And she just breathes. Breathes out. Breathes in. Breathes out. She breathes in. The sun sets. She closes her eyes. Her head drops. She breathes out. And we begin to pull out. On the completion of Lenore's life, sometime far, far in the future, and a life lived to its fullest. And we fade to white. Thank you for playing Dragonlance. Good game to all of you.
Good game, y'all.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Why are you fucking strawed, Sean?
You're welcome.
Damn.
And now
Demetrius
we
out here
transition
being
to
jealous of all the
season 3.
ladies. You should be jealous about the.
So there's literally a one shot in there for the rest of, if you ever want to bring those characters back, you can run that
Major
arc.
taking her earrings out in Barovia.
Yeah.
Like, where is he?
Great time with you all.
Mate.
And
Make that 2 1-shots because you got to go hunt down Kaneth as well.
yeah, well, if I didn't, Kaneth is with Tempe. It's Kaneth and Tempe together under the tutelage of a bigger puppet master, being controlled by that.
Sean was
madness.
When we started this game. Sean was all like, "I want."
Sean,
Curse of Strahd."
Sean was like, "I don't want a happy ending." He was like, this started. He was like, "I refuse your happy ending, DM," and I was like, like this entire session, I was like, "All right." So I was like, "Let's go."
I didn't see one for him.
Yeah,
I think that what happened made sense.
Okay, before we get into our conversations, I'm gonna stop